We're in the great desert Southwest, Phoenix, Arizona, for the second meeting of the season at Sun Devil Stadium today between the Detroit Lions out of the NFC Central and the Phoenix Cardinals from the National Football Conference Eastern Division. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Verne Lundquist along with Dan Fouts. A tumultuous week for the Detroit Lions. They are still tied for first place, but on Monday of this week, Dan Henning was fired as the offensive coordinator, and Wayne Fouts also demoted his starting quarterback, Rodney Peete. Why these changes this late in the season?
Well, according to Fouts, he was very unhappy with his lack of productivity on offense, specifically no offensive touchdowns in 9 straight quarters. So by reuniting Eric Kramer and Dave Levy, he's trying to recapture the magic of the '91 season. So look for the Lions today to get more 3 and 4 wide receiver sets, but it's still going to come up to that offensive line. They have to find a way of protecting Eric Kramer.
This thing is here for the taking, man. We got to go take it. That's simple. Everybody got to execute. Don't worry about the guy next to you. He's got a job to do. Take it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Take it!
That's the Lion line coach Jerry Walter. They, of course, gave up 7 sacks last week in losing their 3rd consecutive game. Here's an anomaly for you. Phoenix comes in with a 4-8 record. They're playing a 7-5 team, and they are favored. What do you expect from the Cardinals today?
Well, Joe Bugle told us yesterday that he's still going to rely heavily on his passing game that features Steve Berline, Gary Clark, Ricky Prohl, and Randall Hill, specifically Randall Hill. Get the ball to Hill early so we can use his tremendous speed late in the game to get deep behind the secondary.
Lions won the toss. Cardinals will kick off. That means Greg Davis. And Mel Gray is deep. In the first game between these two, Gray returned the opening kickoff 61 yards to set up the first of 4 Detroit field goals. Detroit won that game 26-20. Gray at the 1. There will be no 61-yarder this time. Good. Downfield coverage by the Cardinals. And Detroit takes over with Eric Kramer getting his first start of the '93 season. He is the 3rd quarterback, of course, to start this year. Lomas Brown, Richards, Glover, Freilich, and Lutz heavily criticized in the past couple of weeks. Derek Moore starts for Barry Sanders for the 2nd week in a row. Willie Green, Brett Perryman, who hurt an ankle in preseason warm-ups or pregame warm-ups, but is okay. And they are joined by Herman Moore and Rodney Holman. Kramer will throw on first down. Flips it out short. The ball is caught by Derek Moore, and he gets across the 20 near the 21. The nickel Phoenix Cardinal defense features Jones and Rucker, Davis, and Bankston up front. The inside linebackers Eric Hill and Tyrone Stowe. And the 5 defensive backs, Massey and John Booty, along with Zorius, Lorenzo Lynch, and Aeneas Williams. 2nd down and 7. Derek Moore fumbles and recovers the ball. Last week on his first tote, he fumbled it as well. It was a 12-yard loss. As the Lions recovered, this time Moore falls on it back at the 18-yard line.
What a lot of teams have done, especially the Rams last week against Phoenix, was run the ball wide. Played very similar to this, where they pitch it back to the tailback. Derek Moore just dropped that ball. It's a good pitch by Kramer. But what we're seeing from the Lions and from Dave Levy is Ty Halleck started as a fullback, perhaps more specifically a blocking back in the backfield with Derek Moore.
3rd and 9, opening series of the ball game. 4 wide receivers in. Kramer goes across the middle, caught but short of the first down. That's Brett Perryman with the catch, number 80. Mentioned that he turned an ankle. You'll see him limp a little bit as he goes off. And John Booty makes the tackle for the Cardinals. 4th down.
That series did not start very well for the Lions. They got the completion on first down to Derek Moore, but his fumble on 2nd down really set up a difficult 3rd and long situation for Detroit and their new starting quarterback, Eric Kramer.
Jim Arnold is on to punt. Eric Blunt will do the return job today. Johnny Bailey on the inactive list. And here is Blunt counter-punching out near the 49-yard line. And Steve Berline will start at quarterback for the Cardinals. who won big at home last week against the Rams. Up front, it's Sharp and Joe Wolf getting his second consecutive start. Ed Cunningham, Lance Smith, and Rick Cunningham at right tackle. Ron Moore in the backfield, 4 TDs a week ago. The wide receivers are Clark and Kroll, the tight end Walter Reeves, and the H-back is Butch Roll. First down from the 49. Larry Centers is in the lineup on first down. He goes in motion to the left. Burline, Gary Clark. That was made by Jamison at the 45, 46-yard line. Defensively, the Lions are hurting. With Lawrence Pete and Pat Swilling inactive today, it'll be Pritchett, Spindler at the nose, and Robert Forshea. Scroggins starts for Swilling, along with Gibson, Spielman, and Jamison. And in the defensive backfield, Scott, Colin, William White, and Ray Crockett. Mark Spindler, who had to move to nose with Lawrence Pete's injury last week. First time he had ever played that position. Toss to Moore. He heads left. And good second effort gets him down near the 40-yard line. That might be good enough for the first down.
Now with Swilling out of the lineup and Lawrence Pete out of the lineup, those are two of the starters for the Lions and two of their real strong run defenders. And of course, Swilling gives you the great pass rush. But we'll see today, not only will we see Scroggins, but Tracy Hayworth will play some at that one spot. And look for Spindler to play not over the center as a nose tackle, but for the Lions to be more of a 4-man front, and Spindler will play over the guard. But wherever Spindler plays, he really doesn't care. He just wants to be playing.
Here's the stretch of the chain. First down.
Cardinals are awful good on converting third and short situations. 44%. That was a second down, so Bugle's offense is working really well to begin this game, but they got great field position to start it at the 49.
At the first down 10 now at the 41-yard line. No score, opening moments of the game. Blitz, play action. And Burline rolling out has Kroll on the near side, but he had to lean a little too far. Couldn't make the catch. It's incomplete.
Had to be concerned with getting his feet in bounds, and that ball just sailed a little bit on Burline. It's interesting that Burline started today's game exactly the same way he started last week's game against the Rams, with a quick hitch to Gary Clark. That got Clark going early, and he had his best day as a Phoenix Cardinal.
They sold about 40,000 tickets for this game. So we're a little over half full.
Or half empty.
I'm optimistic. Second and 10. Motion. Mark Spindler. Ed Cunningham, who jumped or made first contact.
And a half-hearted point by Mark Spindler at Ed Cunningham.
That's a point full of hope.
I think it's rather pointless. Watch number 93 jump and grab Cunningham. Cunningham doesn't flinch at all, but it all depends on how the guys in the striped shirt saw it.
Mark Spindler practicing the wrestling hold. And Kelvin Pritchett indicates that it may be a procedure for call against the Cardinals. And here's Red Cashin.
Encroachment. Number 93 on the defense. 5 yards, still second down.
Well, Spindler didn't win that battle.
The amazing thing is it took the officials about a minute and a half to figure it out. And that was as easy an encroachment call as you'll ever see. Spindler didn't even argue hardly.
He knew it was hopeless. Second and 5. No score, opening moments of the game, and another flag. Bring this one back. Kelvin Pritchett, who last week...
Before the snap, false start. Number 68 on the offense. 5 yards, still second down.
That's Joe Wolf. And so Pritchett, who lost one of those battles last week, wins this one. Kansas City with an early lead over Denver at Mile High. And if the Raiders lose and the Chiefs win, they will win their first division title in 22 years.
How do you think Marcus Allen is feeling today?
Oh, wow.
He's ready to play?
Major League. 2nd and 10. Berline finds Larry Centers, and he gets it down to the 36-yard line. Centers, number 37, used in passing situations. That's a gain of 5.
That was really a wonderful catch, too, Verne. Centers, third leading receiver as a running back in the NFL, and this is why. This is his 39th catch of the year, and maybe one of his best ones. Reaching out and knowing that number 54, Chris Spielman's coming with the big hit, keeps his concentration and gives his team a very manageable 3rd down and 5 situation.
3rd and 5 from the 36. No score in the game. Pull in motion to the left. Pretty good protection. And Centers leans for the 1st down. And with that little lean at the end, I believe he got it 1st and 10. That's a gain of 6.
Yeah, pulled Ryan McNeil, the rookie cornerback, with him just far enough to pick up the 1st down. That was a heck of an effort by Larry Centers.
Johnny Bailey used in that spot along with Larry Centers. They're the smaller backs on the inactive list for the day with an injury.
But we're seeing Centers not in only 3rd down situations, but he, as this one is a 1st down situation, is in the lineup.
1st and 10 from the 30. No score. Opening moments of the game. And Ron Moore tries it at right guard. The tackle was made by William White, number 35.
William White is going to come in from the right side of the screen here on the safety blitz. Number 35 does a nice job of knifing in, but those are the type of defensive calls you expect from Hank Bulla, the defensive coordinator of the Lions. He loves the safety blitz.
2nd and 10. Left side. Oh my goodness. Kevin Scott, number 38, was right there at the point of the catch.
I think this catch begs the question, how? Watch the shot on Larry Centers right as the ball gets there, and it was right on the right shoulder of Centers by Scott. Great catch by Larry Centers, and a great hit by Kevin Scott. He's got to be wondering how come that ball didn't get popped loose.
Well, I heard a whistle. They had spotted the ball in the wrong spot. Now they've got it set. 3rd and 7. 8:45 to go, 1st quarter of play. 4-man rush. Berline across the middle, dropped. That was Eric Blunt, number 25, and he had enough for the 1st down. It'll be 4th down.
He may have been thinking about that 1st down, though, Verne. It looked like he took his eye off the ball just as it was coming into him, thinking about what he needed to pick it up.
So Greg Davis comes on for his 1st field goal attempt. This will be from 44 yards.
But Berline threw 6 times in this drive, completed 4, and was not hurried or knocked down 1 time by the Lion pass rush.
Berline will hold. And Davis's kick is blocked. Davis recovers, but the kick blocked in the middle of the line.
Big play by the Lions special teams unit. They've been good all year long. Take a look at it right in the middle. It looked like it took Davis a long time to approach this ball and get it off, and he just hit it real low. Looked like it hit the back of Garth Jacks.
Lions get the ball back on the blocked field goal attempt.
The upbacks here, this is Garth Jackson, here's Derek Ware. Watch them come to the middle here, and this ball's going to hit Garth Jacks right in the back. As Greg Davis just hit it too low, trying to hit from 44 yards out.
1st down, 10 Lions. Kramer hands it off to Derek Moore, who is tripped up immediately and doesn't gain anything.
The one thing that Dave Levy told me about their running attack today against this big nickel defense of the Cardinals is they want to increase the size of their splits along the offensive line, spread out the Cardinal defense. They use a 4-man line with 2 middle linebackers, They want those ends to get real wide and isolate the big tackles, both Keith Rucker and Reuben Davis.
See the middle line there when Dave Levy was a Chargers offensive coordinator, and of course worked with Dan in San Diego. Second down, 11. Kramer back under a little bit of pressure, finds Derek Moore, and he's got a lot of room. First down, Lions across the 50 at the 48-yard line. Tackle made by Lorenzo Lynch.
That's the thing that Eric Kramer brings to this offense, is his ability to see the entire field, and given enough time, he'll find his outlet receiver, as he did that time. He's a very accurate passer, and if he's protected well early in this game, both Levy and Fouts feel that he'll have a good day. Cardinals do not have a lot of sacks on the quarterback this year, so it could be a good afternoon for Eric Kramer.
Well, of course, offensive line protection so critical last week when it wasn't there. Here's the handoff to Moore, going right and going down again. 7 sacks by the Vikings last week against the Lions. Eric Kramer, we sat with Wayne Fouts a week ago Saturday and talked to him about Eric Kramer, and Dan said, what about Eric Kramer? He said, well, he's had his chance and he didn't light it up. And then bingo, on Monday, he goes from third to first.
That light went on somewhere between Saturday and Monday, probably in the fourth quarter of the game against Minnesota. When Ware was picked off once and Rodney Peete was picked off 4 times.
Second down and 11. Left side. That ball is caught at the 41-yard line. Lorenzo Lynch makes the tackle on Brett Perrin.
But interesting, in talking to Fouts, the decision in Detroit was met with typical reaction from the media. But Dave Levy said that for the team, it wasn't that traumatic a change. They are used to Dave Levy. They had him as their offensive coordinator a couple of years back. They know what Eric Kramer can do. Really, with the way the league has gone this year, we see Chicago lose today. The Lions have a chance, if Green Bay were to lose tonight, to, with the win, go back into sole possession of first place.
Kramer started out without the football. That'll be 5 yards against the Lions as he stepped back. I am, though, still trying to understand the new map that's practiced in Detroit. If you're number 1 and you get demoted.
False start. Number 12 on the offense. 5 yards, still third down.
You go from 1 to 3 without stopping at 2. And if you're 2, you stay there. And you go from 3 to 1.
And if you're 1, you go back to 3.
Right.
So who's on first?
What?
Oh, good start for Kramer.
Sure is. And not much pressure. 4 wide receivers set now. That's Herman Moore in motion wide to the right. Kramer with time finds Derek Moore, who tries to struggle out of the tackle and is down at the 40-yard line. John Booty, number 42, is the first man there. And that will bring up a 4th down.
Well, this is a lot like the run and shoot offense, where you put 3 wide receivers to one side of the field. Cardinals are back in a zone. Nobody's open there, so Kramer drops it to his outlet. Derek Moore short of the first down. How critical was that false start by Kramer on 3rd and 4 on the previous play?
Anthony Edwards is back to return the punt. He waits at the 10. And Jim Arnold will try and get this out of bounds, or at least dead inside the 20. And what a dandy kick by Arnold. That's terrific. He did exactly as he had hoped. He knocked it out of bounds in the area of the 12-yard line. So with 4:49 remaining in the first quarter of play following a 32-yard punt, Cardinals have it back.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Coors Light. Reach for the silver bullet, the right beer now. The all-new Ford Mustang. It is what it was and more. AT&T, we help put your world within reach. And by Denorex with Conditioners, the serious dandruff shampoo.
Rather typically gorgeous December afternoon in the desert. Temperature expected to reach a sizzling 65 today. It is gorgeous. First down at the 7, not the 12. And here's Berline handing it off. No, play action. and he comes to the right side and overthrows his intended receiver, Gary Clark. Well, Eric Swan, of course, may have been en route to the Pro Bowl this year when he was injured here in the game against Philadelphia.
Yeah, and Fritz Shermer told us yesterday that his defense, with the injuries to the secondary all over with, are really starting to play well. But if they had Eric Swan, he feels they'd be one of the better defenses in the entire league. But his absence has made Rucker and Reuben Davis play better at that defensive tackle position.
2nd and 10, no score in the game. Here's the draw play after they faked it the first time out, and Ron Moore managed to get about 3 feet. That's it. 4:35 to go. First quarter play. Chris Spielman makes the tackle.
Well, all he does is make 100 tackles every year. 6 years in a row now, he's led the team in set tackles, and usually he has to fight off the block of a lead running back. That time it was Larry Centers. He just pushed Centers out of the way and got to Ron Moore. Another tackle for number 54.
And that'll bring up 3rd down, and Eric Blunt comes into the lineup on 3rd and 9. So a good defensive stand here by the Lions, and they'll come out of this with terrific field position. No blitz, screen pass left side. Larry Centers comes back and weaves his way out near the 17-yard line, and he might have gotten the first down.
Real good call by Jerry Rome, knowing that the Lions are going to be in a zone. This is a perfect time to throw a screen pass. And then you have a talented receiver like Centers who makes Spielman miss, gets straight up the field, and picks up enough for the first down. Good call and perfect execution.
And a pretty good block by Ed Cunningham, the center, who got him loose.
That's part of that execution.
First down and 10. And the handoff goes left. I'm laughing because all of us, the mind works in curious ways, particularly mine. Remember John McKay's line after a particularly inept Tampa Bay performance? The writer said, "What do you think of the offense's execution?" He said, "I'm in favor of it."
And Dave Levy, of course, worked with John McKay back at USC for many years, and does a pretty good John McKay imitation. A very dry wit of his own.
Wayne Fonts worked with McKay's staff, of course, down in Tampa. 2nd down and 8. No score. We've got 2:42 to go, first quarter. Berline looking for Clark on a crossing pattern. Goes deep instead, and he's got Randall Hill open. And Steve Berline told us that he really wanted to get Randall Hill involved in the offense today.
He's a player that expects to make big plays, and he needs to have his confidence stroked and his ego pampered a little bit in order to make big plays. This offensive line is doing a good job. Berline hasn't been touched yet. Look for Randall Hill to catch 4 or 5 passes today, and for the Cardinals to try to get him deep.
That's only his 29th catch of the season. First down after a 16-yard gain. Little bit of pressure. Berline, they got him. Kelvin Pritchett, number 94, and a flag is down on the far side of the field.
This might be holding against the Lions. It's way deep in the secondary, but up front the play was made by Mark Spindler.
Defensive holding.
Yeah, Spindler just got the great penetration to start with. Here he is right on the center. Watch his quickness. With the left hand, gets right by Cunningham.
5 yards, touchdown.
But in the secondary, it was a holding call. That really kills the Lions. They were going to lose 9 yards on that play.
Holding call wipes it out. First down and 10 at 41. Ron Moore down to rather up to the 44-yard line. We have no score. We've had one threat. That was on the first drive by the Cardinals, and the field goal was blocked.
Kelvin Pritchett right here is going to make another play. He's filling in for Dan Owens, and this is 2 weeks in a row now that he's played very well. defeats the block of the Louis Sharp, number 67, and makes a tackle for a short gain.
Owens was inactive a week ago with an injury. He is active today. Hasn't played yet. 2nd and 7. Berline could have been picked off. It is. Intercepted by the Lions on the tip drill. Then handed back from Colin to George Jamison. It was Colin who made the interception, as Berline is sending his passes a little high.
Yeah, and he really forced this one into a crowd there. This ball should have been intercepted the first time it got to the guys, but it bounced up in the air. Watch how he just stares down his receiver to the right side. He's going to try and force it over the middle here. Knocked up in the air by William White, and Harry Colin picks it up on the tip drill, Verne.
Lions football.
Berline's going to try and get the ball to Randall Hill here on the deep cross route, and William White is going to drop back and then break on the ball.
What was that route again?
The old come across route. You all go down the field and you come across right about here, and if you don't look off the safety, you get an interception.
I love working with you. I learn something every week.
Got to change the name of that route.
First down and 10. And the handoff goes to Derek out to the 45-yard line.
The amazing thing about the Lions this year is they've got 13 interceptions now, and those have come from 10 different players. So that's secondary, and this defense is the reason why the Lions still have a shot at that NFC Central Division.
Harry Colin's 2nd interception on that deflection. 2nd down and 6 now. This will be the final play of quarter number 1. No flag, so the quarter must have ended before the play was snapped. That is the case. And that is the end of the first quarter here in Sun Devil Stadium in Phoenix, Arizona. No score. Cardinals and Lions. Quarter number 2 on your left, Joe Bugel of the Cardinals. The ultimatum shaded just a little bit for him. He will be the coach here for at least the rest of the year. And on your right, Wayne Fouts getting some fire from the media in Detroit. There were reports that he's been given an ultimatum that he must win the division. He denies it. He said William Clay Ford did not give him an ultimatum. On television this morning, Lomas Brown, one of his star offensive linemen, was saying they'd heard he had to win the division this year, and that would have helped. The pass is incomplete, intended for Aubrey Matthews, number 83. And it'll be 3rd down.
This may be labeled the ultimatum bowl then, because both of the coaches are under fire. But if Kramer can hit Audrey Matthews on this play here, deep in the Cardinal end of the field, this would have been a big play for Detroit, just about a foot too long. But interesting, Fouts denying that he's under any pressure to win the division. And yet his players have heard that if he doesn't, he's gone.
3rd down and 6. Right side, incomplete. It'll be 4th down. Brett Perryman, the intended receiver. And Eric Kramer and the Lions unable to capitalize on the first turnover that they get today. The pass interception from Harry Colin, and Jim Arnold is on to punt. Eric Kramer said he was shocked by what happened on Monday. He did not expect to get the starting nod. And here's the punt taken by Eric Blunt at the 14-yard line. Back out to the 25 and then maybe the 26-yard line, where the Cardinals will take over. Well, there's the former and the current starting quarterbacks of the Detroit Lions. Current standings in the NFC Central: Green Bay playing tonight at San Diego, Detroit and Chicago losing today. And so the Lions, given a Green Bay loss, will be back in first place with a victory. Here's where they hurt, though, Dan.
Yeah, they've got only 2 wins in the division and 4 losses, but they do have a chance to play Chicago and Green Bay last 2 games of the season.
Ron Moore goes right, not for far. He got back to the line of scrimmage, and that was it. And Dennis Gibson is a little slow getting back on his feet. Hasn't gotten there yet.
Yeah, he really moved pretty good, too, to make this tackle. Here he is, number 98. Finds a little hole, kind of like a running back there. There's Gibson with the big hit, and then he fell over William White. That may be where he got injured. Guy doesn't get a lot of publicity, but he's there every week, right alongside of Chris Spielman, whose job it is to make a lot of tackles on the strong side, but that's where Gibson's strength is running plays down using his outstanding speed.
Victor Jones, number 57, checks in. It'll be second down and 9. No score in the game. Early moments of quarter number 2. Berline under some pressure, and they got him for the second time, though this will be the first official sack, the last one negated by a holding call. And it's Robert Porcher who gets his 7th.5 sack of the season.
And Berline had a lot of time to throw, but couldn't find anybody in the secondary open. And he kind of looking for a hole to crawl out of, but Porcher is right there and tosses him down. Good pressure again by Spindler as he uses that swim move. This time the Cardinals are ready for it. Lance Smith taking over.
Pressure again. Berline deep across the middle. Incomplete. Kroll probably should have had that.
Yeah, well, anytime a receiver gets his hands on the ball, he's expected to make the catch. Quarterback can only do so much. This ball is well thrown by Berline. Steps up into this one pretty good. He's got a good lane, and Kroll, maybe thinking that contact was coming, couldn't make the grab.
On that crossing route, he had a lot of open space. But instead, it's going to be Mel Gray of the Lions who waits for the punt now from Rich Camarillo. Gray with a fair catch. Grabs it at the 26-yard line. Pretty good downfield coverage supplied by Odie Harris of the Cardinals. Well, coming up next Saturday for you on CBS, Youngstown State and Marshall from Huntington, West Virginia. It's the NCAA Division I AA championship meeting for the 3rd time in succession. That's Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. And then Dan and I will be back in New York for the Cowboys and the New York Jets. That's Saturday at 3:30 Eastern time. A game that has important playoff ramifications for both teams. 1st and 10. And the handoff goes to Derek Moore, and Freddie Joe Nunn, number 50, makes the tackle for the Cardinals on this one.
The Jets are doing a pretty good imitation of the Detroit Lions on offense last couple weeks. 3-0 yesterday against Washington. Did not score a touchdown the previous week against Indianapolis.
The Lions, by the way, having gone the first quarter without a score, have now gone 10 quarters without a touchdown.
And you add that to the 11 quarters earlier in the year, that's 21 now. And that's just about 5 games and 1 quarter with no offensive touchdowns. And it's amazing they're still in first place.
On the ground, the Lions 1 yard. Moore is 5 for 1. That's Holman in motion. Blitz coming. Kramer across the middle. Incomplete. Too high. Intended for Herman Moore at the 41. And it will be 3rd down.
Now we're seeing from both defensive coordinators a lot of zone coverage. A lot of crossing routes, or that come on over route that we talked about earlier. And we're seeing receivers not really coming up with some of these tough catches. Their teams are relying on their receivers to move the ball today, and we're not seeing the big playmakers come up with big plays yet.
3rd and 9. No score. 2nd quarter. They hand it off to Moore. He breaks the tackle and comes up, it appears from here, and we're 4 miles away, but he's a half yard short. Looks like he gained 8, might come up just a little short.
He's complaining about the mark, too. That was a heck of an effort. But that draw play was right out of the Dan Henning playbook. 3rd and about 8 yards. Came up about a yard short. One thing about Dave Levy is he will receive input from all his assistants, Jerry Wampler and Charlie Sanders, and also from his players. A player come over to the sidelines and said, hey, coach, I can get open on such and such route. Dave Levy will listen to him and give him a shot to do that. What it does is it gives players confidence, but it also puts the onus on the player. If a receiver comes out and says, hey, coach, I can get deep on a double move, you better do it when the coach calls the next play. So what it does is it helps raise the level of play from each individual player.
Jim Arnold on the punt as the draw play came up a half-yard short, and Eric Blunt is back to return it. That's a dandy. That could be down. Oh, what a punt by Jim Arnold. And Willie Clay, I believe it is, was the first one down there. Really terrific. And Frank Gans, the special teams coach, is the first out to congratulate Jim Arnold. A 62-yard punt for Jim Arnold, and that pins the Cardinals back at the 2-yard line. Earlier this afternoon, Tampa Bay held off Chicago. The Rams knocked off New Orleans. The Giants got in the playoffs by virtue of their victory. Buffalo came from behind to nip Philadelphia. Houston won late against Cleveland, and New England gives Cincinnati the lead in the Marshall Faulk Bowl.
Yeah, 7-2.
First down from the end zone. Berline fires it out. That's caught at the 9-yard line by Butch Roll, the H-back. That's only his 9th catch of the season. A gain of 7.
One of the reasons that Luis Sharp is considered the best left tackle in football is his ability as an athlete to make a play like that. Just picks Tracy Hayworth right off his quarterback's shoulder, allows Berline time to complete that pass. Great job by Luis Sharp.
Luis Sharp became a father again earlier this week. His wife Kathy gave birth to twins, boy and a girl. And here's Moore. That's a first down out of the 14-yard line. Ron Moore. With the birth of those twins, Luis is now the father of his first son, as a matter of fact. He's got 3 daughters and a son.
Watch number 54, Chris Spielman here, looking, eyeballing Ron Moore here. Has to fight off the block around his legs, but does the job, but doesn't get enough help from his teammates to push Ron Moore back and prevent him from picking up that first down.
Gain of 6, first down 10. Ball at the 15-yard line. 10:50 to go, first half. We have no score in the game. Berline got a great block, and he's got man coverage, and he's got Ricky Prohl. "38-yard gain. Ray Crockett saved the touchdown."
Beautiful pass and a beautiful catch, but a terrific block out on the left side, right side of the screen. Larry centers. Actually, it's Ron Moore that just takes out Tracy Hayworth there with a beautiful block. And Prohl gets behind Crockett. Look at this tackle by Crockett, though. Just gets his ankle, or Prohl was gone.
Gain of 38, first down at the 47-yard line. And here's Moore coming left, and he picks up 4 yards. That was a wonderful block by Moore on Hayworth that gave Berline just that extra fraction of a second that he needed.
Well, Hayworth is a youngster. He's only 26 years old. You don't see the older players trying to jump over running backs, trying to get to the quarterback. It'd be real painful when you hit the ground. Good athlete, Tracy Hayworth. Watch Moore, number 30, just a couple of plays ago. As Hayworth going the high route, getting planted on his wallet.
Second down. Reverse. Ricky Prohl. Ball was fumbled, but it's out of bounds. And a first down at the 20. Dallas playing back at Minnesota. Let's go back and check in with Greg Gumbel.
And winning Verne at the Metrodome, Troy Aikman. Watch him thread the needle. 10-yard touchdown pass to Michael Irvin. Cowboys on top of the Vikings, 10-6 second quarter. Verne and Dan, back to you.
All right, Greg, 9:07 remaining in the first half here. We have no score. And that last game, Ricky Proehl's 6th carry of the season. And his longest gain, 17 yards. First down from the 26-yard line. Beuerlein quickly out to the near side. Larry centers down to the 21-yard line. The tackle made by Kevin Scott.
It's a heck of a drive for the Cardinals. Remember, they started at about their own 2-yard line. Got the big pass play to Proehl down the sidelines, and then that 17-yard reverse. That's why they got all these yards here.
And it's going to be second down right now. Derek Ware comes in. That's Ware in motion. And that's Spindler coming across. And if they catch Mark Spindler, it'll be the second time today. Playing nose guard for the first time in his career. He moved in there last week. Said he had 3 practices, 3 plays of practice the week before, just in case. And it's going to go against Spindler.
Yeah, and he's complaining that Beuerlein used a head bomb.
Number 93 on the defense, 5 yards, still second down.
It says that he's 290 pounds, but I asked him yesterday what he was weighing. He said he's about 278, right around 280. So he's relying on his quickness now. He's tried to balloon up to the over 300, didn't like it there. Has his weight where he likes it now. It's a little light in the saddle, though, jumping off sides the last 2 times here in the first half.
2nd and 1. They may have gotten him again. Flags are down. If the play stands, it's a first down, but Spindler may have moved. Or
make it a first down too. And as a quarterback, if you know you got somebody that's a little jumpy, you really have a good time trying to get them off. I mean, that's your challenge now, to get these free 5 yards. So far now, Spindler has given the Cardinals 15 yards.
Number 93 on the defense, 5 yards, first down.
Spindler's going to use one of those wrestling moves here in a minute.
Well, watch him right in the middle here. The motion goes by. That distracts him a little bit, but it's Beuerlein using voice inflection, and he didn't bob his head at all, just got him with his voice 3 times now in the first half.
First down and 10 at the 11. Scoreless game. Beuerlein deep in the end zone, almost picked off by Ray Crockett. And Steve knows that that was nearly a major mistake on his part.
Well, this is the red area, and watch how Crockett, just playing zone defense, reads the eyes of the quarterback. Here he is here. Beuerlein's trying to hit this route in the corner of the end zone, but if you watch Crockett, he's a veteran of 5 years and one of the best corners in football, covers 2 men and almost comes up with the interception.
Boy, he did do a terrific job.
Well, see, he could just look back and see the quarterback where Beuerlein was looking. He could feel the route in front of him, know he can make that play, but also has the ability to go back and make the play on the corner route.
2nd and 10, 4-man rush. They find Walter Reeves, and he moves it in the center of the field to the 7-yard line. That's a pickup of 4 yards. Walter Reeves, who is not that involved in the passing part of the offense.
Now, he only has 5. That's his 6th catch of the year. Derek Ware has 3 catches, and Butch Roll 8 catches. So it's a good idea to go to your tight ends down in this part of the field, because the Lions, they look at the stats too. They don't expect the Beuerlein to go to his tight ends.
Eric Blunt comes in now, split backs, Blunt to the right on 3rd down and 5. Again, no blitz. Blunt up the middle, touchdown. That is his first touchdown of the season. Eric Blunt. That's his first touchdown ever, and he wants the football. A 98-yard drive by the Phoenix Cardinals, the highlights of which included a 38-yard pass, Ricky Prohl from Steve Berline, a 17-yard reverse by Prohl, 3 offside penalties, or 2 on Spindler, and then the touchdown. Here's Greg Davis's extra point. It is up, and it is good.
The drive took 5.5 minutes for the Cardinals. First NFL touchdown for Eric Blunt, and he uses his time well. He sets up his blockers, sees the hole, and goes in untouched. The Lions have substituted Dan Owens on this play, but also watched the block on Chris Spielman by Ron Moore. And great vision by Eric Blunt for his first NFL touchdown.
Steve Berline was 4 out of 5 for 55 yards on that drive. 98-yard drive, and the Cardinals go on top 7-zip. Mel Gray down at the 16-yard line. There's Eric Blunt. Got the score. It's 7-0 Phoenix. Time has been called. Man in the sunglasses is one of the veterans of the National Football League, Fritz Shurmur, defensive coordinator in his 19th NFL season, and orchestrating the defensive utilization of the Cardinals. Here's Kramer, short setup, pumps once, being chased and fires it left side, and what a tackle by John Booty on Derek Moore. Booty, who missed 4 games, is his second game back with an injury, and they missed him.
You know, I've never had the pleasure of being able to hit somebody with a free shot like this one. This has got to be a defensive back's dream. Let the receiver catch the ball, then turn to you, face up, and then you drill him. Good pressure by Nunn. He gets a nice little drill shot on the quarterback, too.
That's a gain of 5 and second down now. 5:40 remaining first half of play. Draw play. Moore. Good run by Derek Moore. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, the Cardinals are in what they call their stuffed nickel, Verne. What that means is Rucker and Davis are in the game because they're the big guys. They're supposed to stuff the run on, and they have the outside pass rushers, Harvey and Nunn. And Fritz Shurmur told us yesterday that alongside of the stuffed nickel, we got the big nickel, we got the medium nickel, and we got the flop nickel. But if for the stuffed nickel to work, the big stuff guys here, Rucker and Davis, they got to stop that running play.
If you go to your flop nickel, I think you're in trouble. First down and 10. They'll go deep, and he's got Herman Moore all by himself. Oh, boy. Aeneas Williams went for the pump fake. And Herman Moore kept striding right by him. That's a gain of 48 yards.
And the pass protection from this offensive line is absolutely perfect on this play. They stuffed the stuffed nickel up front. The speed guys don't get to Kramer on the outside. And as you said, Verne, the little pump move by Kramer gave Moore time to get behind Aeneas Williams. 48 yards, big play for the Lions.
He's playing with a badly dislocated thumb on his left hand. And here's Moore running loose down to the 11-yard line. Michael Bankston makes the tackle. That's a pickup of 11.
That's why making big plays are so important for a football team. The offensive line is coming off the ball strong now. They've moved it all the way down half the field in one play. They're down at about the 12-yard line now and feeling awful good about themselves for a change.
First down and 10. They trail 7-0 to the Lions. Derek Moore Spins down to the 6. Tackle made by Michael Bankston, number 63. That's a gain of 5 more. Barry Sanders did not make the trip, of course, out with the knee sprain. Rodney Peete relegated to flashing in the plays now. Pat Swilling, also back in Detroit, did not make the trip, and Lawrence Peete is on the inactive list.
I would think if you got a free ride to Phoenix in December, I might take that trip.
I think so, too. Kramer looking right. Hit as he lets it go. Touchdown, Herman Moore. He was worried last night about his ability to catch the ball unless it was perfectly thrown because of that problem with his left thumb. But he's had no problem on his drive.
2 perfect passes from Eric Kramer. And Kramer's nickname is Brass, and he showed a lot of brass that time. We've got an injured Lion down in the end zone here. It looks like Brett Perriman, maybe that ankle he sprained in pregame warmups. But Kramer hung in there to the last minute. Michael Bankston was coming free, but so was Herman Moore in the back of the end zone, and that's what Kramer was looking at. Bankston's number 63 here from the right side of the screen. And boy, that takes a lot of guts from a quarterback to stand in there, know you're going to get hit by a guy that weighs 280 pounds, and still deliver the ball perfectly to his wide receiver in the end zone.
Well, that is a terribly important counterpunch for the Detroit Lions. Their first touchdown since Thanksgiving Day. And it comes right on the heels of a 98-yard drive by the Cardinals. The Lions, with Eric Kramer hitting Moore 2 big plays, go 84 yards in 6 plays. And Eric Kramer throws his first touchdown pass of 93. Now Perryman walks off without assistance, and Jason Hansen is on to try and tie it up. Kick is up and good.
A couple of things the Lions haven't had in the last couple of weeks are big plays and touchdowns. The big play on 48-yarder to Herman Moore, and then the perfect pass in the back of the end zone from new quarterback Eric Kramer.
Dave Levy, we asked him yesterday if he had any input in the decision to name Eric Kramer the new starting quarterback. And he said the process was this. Wayne Fonts asked me if I wanted to go to work in a new capacity. I said yes. He then asked me a private question. I gave him my response, and here we are.
Very diplomatic of Dave Levy. I think that he did have a little input. Yeah, give me Eric Kramer. I think he can win for me.
I think that's what happened. Jason Hansen will kick off now. Eric Blunt and Anthony Edwards drift deep.
Eric Kramer did win 6 straight games for Dave Levy and the Detroit Lions back in '91.
And here's the ball picked up by Eric Blunt. Moves it out to the 23-yard line, so 2:59 to go in the half.
A couple of things to look at on this touchdown. Here's Perriman. He's going to work to the inside and then back out. When he comes back out, he's going to trip up Aeneas Williams, who has the man-to-man coverage on Herman Moore. It's an inadvertent pick play, but the results are perfect for the Lions, except Perriman bruised his knee on the play. He is expected back, though.
A second less than 3 minutes remaining in the first half of play. Kramer will use this time to chat with the upstairs coaches. 7-7 ball game. Verline for the pump fake. He goes deep for Ricky Prohl and overthrows him by just a bit. Harry Colin defending.
Boy, the one thing about Verline is you can tell exactly how he's feeling by his reaction after each pass. A little bit frustrated that this ball is just about 2 inches too far. Prohl got his right hand on it, but watch Colin pull the right hand back at the last second. That caused the incompletion. Great play by Harry Colin.
Second down and 10. Berline is now 10 of 17 for an even 100 yards. They hand it off to Ron Moore, and he runs into Robert Porcher, number 91. Now let's go back and check what's happening with the Cowboys and the Vikings. Here's Greg.
All right, Verne, at the Metrodome, the Cowboys trying to prove they're just fine. Have scored on every possession so far today. Emmitt Smith, 4-yard touchdown run. The Cowboys lead the Vikes 17-6, second quarter. Verne and Dan.
All right, Greg. And of course, Dallas and New York play in the final game of the season in New York, the Giants and the Cowboys. That one continues to grow in importance weekly. Third and 7.
Now that the 49ers have lost, maybe Dallas is saying, well, maybe people think we're the best team in the league now.
This week's best team.
Yeah.
No, this week's best team is the Giants. There's Randall Hill left side. And that is going to be short of the first down. We have reached the 2-minute warning with the Lions and the Cardinals tied at 7. Joe Bugle on the Cardinals sideline as the Phoenix team comes up about 4 inches short after the measurement for the first down.
And because of the timeout at the 2-minute warning, and a lot of time to think about it. A lot of help from the fans here, but he did send out his punt team. Good decision by Bugle here at the end of the first half.
Rich Camarillo is on to punt, and Mel Gray is waiting for it at the 21-yard line.
Really got to wonder about that pass route by Randall Hill. 3rd down and 7. He runs a 6-yard route and gets tackled immediately. If you've got a 7-yard route, you run an 8. If you need 7 yards, you run 8 yards, so that you have a little yard cushion there. If you get tackled and pushed back, you still have the first down, but you never run it short.
He did. And it's 4th down. And there seems to be some sort of a delay here. I don't know what it is. Now we're ready to go. Mel Gray at the 20. The up back is Dave Duerson. And Camarillo sends it high. Gray is loose and then is down at the 16-yard line. Odie Harris, number 31, was the first one down and missed the tackle on Mel Gray, but he had some help. 50-yard punt, nothing on the return. San Francisco losing yesterday, and the Giants are in the playoffs with a 10-3 mark. Detroit and Green Bay are 7-5. And the Cowboys at 8-4, New Orleans 7-6, and Chicago 7-6.
Talk about a team not taking advantage of a golden opportunity. The New Orleans Saints lose to the Rams today when they had a chance to gain ground on San Francisco. Butch Roll is the injured Cardinal down on the field.
And he's down at the 15.
Chicago didn't take advantage of their situation, going down to Tampa and losing to the Buccaneers. Jim Harbaugh was hurt in that game.
So Butch Roll walks off, first down and 10.
Well, the concern for the Cardinals now, along with the health of Butch Roll, is their defense and the quarterback they're facing. Eric Kramer is 3 for 3 on that last drive for 59 yards and a touchdown.
First down and 10, 7-7 ball game, 1:49 to go, first down. Kramer drills it, incomplete.
And that's what Herman Moore was talking about yesterday. Verne was catching the ball that's coming right at his face, where he needs both his hands to make the catch. He has a left thumb that he is real worried about, very painful. And that time the ball hit him perfectly, but he couldn't use his left hand well enough to make the catch.
He was saying that the left hand actually gets in the way of the left thumb, rather.
Yeah, that ball couldn't be better thrown from Eric Kramer, but when you have a bad thumb, it's tough to make the catch.
Second and 10. Kramer Kramer lobs it out, caught by Moore, wide open. Some linebacker, and I'm not sure which one, misfired on that and dropped his responsibility. Eric Hill was chasing, but it could have been he was just the closest linebacker to Moore.
You know, Moore came into the game with just 10 catches. He's got 5 already in the first half, so we're seeing the change in the offense where Levy brings in 3-4 wide receivers and Derek Moore is the running back. Kramer goes back and sees Moore just sneak out of the backfield on a crossing route, gets lost and picks up a big gain and a first down, and gets out of bounds, saves the timeout.
17-yard gain, first down at the 33. 7-7 is the score. Kramer finds Moore again. And this time they may want to use one of their timeouts. That's Kramer asking if that's the decision, and it is. Tyrone Stowe made the tackle on the last play. So the Lions use one of their 3. They stop the clock with 1:27 remaining first half, and we are tied at 7. Seven ball game. Eric Kramer chatting with Dave Levy and Wayne Fouts. Went from number 3 to number 1 Monday morning.
And the thing that they did in practice this week is they worked on their timing of their passing game. A lot of sacks, most sacks in the NFL this year given up by the Lions. But what they've been able to do in practice is make the quarterback go down and make a decision, go back and make a decision, get rid of the ball. The receivers have got to sharpen up quick at their routes, and so far it's working very well for the Lions in this first half.
Draw play, broken tackle, first down at the 50. Big gain by Derek Moore. Chuck Cecil, number 26, makes the stop.
Now they'll go to their hurry-up offense and save their last 2 timeouts.
That's a gain of 13 yards. Kramer in trouble. Nailed. Michael Bankston, number 63. His second sack of the season.
Well, that sack just kills the Lions, though. They had momentum. They were working good and sharp. That time Kramer went back, ran out of the pocket too soon, and took a big sack. Should have thrown the ball away when he started to get out of that pocket. They were at midfield, and now they're all the way back to the 37.
Loss of 13 on the first sack of the day, given up by the Lions offensive line.
And that was not the offensive line's fault that time. They had good protection. Kramer just saw something and he decided to bail out. That's okay, but once you bail out, then you don't have anything and you feel the pressure coming, get rid of that ball.
Second down and 23 now, and having used another timeout, the Lions have 1 left.
But in Eric's defense, you know, he hasn't practiced and played all that much.
He did take every rep in practice this week.
And that was a good move by Dave Levy because you only have so many days to get your quarterback prepared.
Second down, that's Brett Perriman in motion. Kramer, Moore, down at the 42. 7 catches for Derek Moore now in the first half. And on third down, they still need about 18.
They're not all that anxious to stop the clock now, are they?
Left side, incomplete, 4th down.
Well, that 13-yard sack that Kramer took from Michael Bankston just killed any hope that Fouts had of getting any points here at the end of the first half. But overall, it's been a great first half for Eric Kramer. 11 out of 16, 1 touchdown, 115 yards. Couldn't ask for more than that from a quarterback.
Jim Arnold is on to punt. Eric Blunt waits at the 10. That's a terrific punt. And it does go into the end zone. It'll be a touchback. Almost stopped by Willie Clay at the 2-yard line. Pretty good effort by number 32. Coming up next Sunday, a doubleheader. Many of you will see the Minnesota Vikings take on the Green Bay Packers at 12:30 Eastern. And in game 2, you'll see either the 49ers at Detroit or Tampa Bay at the Los Angeles Raiders. Check the local listing for the game to be televised in your area.
And Fouts, seeing the 49ers lose yesterday to Atlanta, didn't like the results of that game. He knows that the 49ers are going to come into the Silverdome in a rather foul mood. Niners don't lose 2 in a row very often.
He said he didn't need them angry. 17-6, Dallas leading in the second quarter. And the Cardinals under Joe Bugle off to take a 7-7 game into the halftime locker room. A 98-yard drive by Phoenix. Eric Blunt with a touchdown. And immediately thereafter, an 84-yard drive by the Lions. Herman Moore catches the touchdown pass. That's the end of the first half with our score 7-7.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Canon, a world leader in 35mm photography, LA Tech Light Gear, Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles, and by the wine cellars of Ernest and Julio Gallo, who invite you to try a very special Chardonnay. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Geronimo, an American Legend, a new film from Columbia Pictures. Geo, inviting you to get to know the new Geo Prism. Duracell batteries, no other battery lasts longer. And by Smooth Operator Wet Dry Razors from Panasonic.
Halftime at Sun Devil Stadium in Phoenix, Arizona. The score is 7-7. It was a 98-yard touchdown drive by the Phoenix Cardinals, culminated by the Eric Blunt touchdown run. And then Detroit came right back. They went 84 yards. And significant, I think, this game for Eric Kramer in the first half. And
that offensive line has done a good job of protecting him. Just that one sack at the end of the first half. And interesting, the play selection from Dave Levy. 7 pass receptions for Derek Moore and only 4 other receptions by the 2 wide receivers, Perriman and Moore. But the big catch was that 48-yarder to Herman Moore. That just seemed to pick up the entire team. Gave them the feeling that, yeah, we can be successful again. We could get in the end zone, and they did shortly thereafter.
Is there any reason, given the 7-7 score, to expect changes in the second half?
No, I think the Lions have to feel pretty good about the way things are going. Derek Moore has 47 yards on 10 carries. But it makes you wonder, what would this offense be with Barry Sanders there catching 7 passes and with 10 rushing attempts? So the Lions offense is a lot better than it was last week.
Let's go back to the Detroit touchdown. It came after a 48-yard pass to Herman Moore from Eric Kramer, and this was the touchdown catch by Herman Moore deep in the end zone.
And the real pressure from Michael Bankston, but it was that pick play. You see Perriman go down. He collided with Aeneas Williams, who had the coverage on the receiver, Herman Moore. This is a great play by both the running backs in the play. Watch the block by centers on Spielman right there, and then Blunt just gets in behind Lance Smith and walks into the end zone, his very first NFL touchdown.
And as a result, we are tied 7-7 as we get ready for the start of the second half. Just to reiterate, the Lions could find themselves late tonight back in sole possession of first place. They ended this day tied, 3-way tie for the division lead. Chicago goes down to Tampa Bay and loses. Green Bay's got a very tough game tonight at San Diego.
And it looks like the Chargers are back on track. They're in a battle for a playoff spot in the tough AFC West. They're behind the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Chiefs. So that's not a gimme for Green Bay by any stretch of the imagination.
And of course, you know about the Joe Bugle circumstance here. The ultimatum given by the owner, Bill Bidwell, before this season began, that Joe Bugle and his staff had to have a winning record, and this is the 4th year of his service in Phoenix. That has been amended a little bit, and in large part because of the way this team has played, particularly in the last 3 weeks. They went on the road, they lost by 5 to the Cowboys. They went on the road, lost by 2 to the Giants, and they came home and soundly whipped the Rams.
And it was after that loss to the Giants where the people around the country, and especially here in the local area, could see that the Cardinals had the talent to play with a very good team, should have beat the Giants, but it was the emotion after the loss that came forth that showed the respect and love that the players have for their head coach.
Here's the kickoff, and it'll be a touchback. Eric Blunt, it'll come out to the 20. At the half, rushing yards are equal. Time of possession, a 3-minute edge to Phoenix. And we are tied at 7.
That being the most important stat, of course, and you can see why. 7-7, and both teams have got to win this ball game.
First down and 10. Here's Moore going to the right side and gets out near the 22-yard line. Robert Porcher makes the tackle. Ron Moore, 10 carries for 28 yards now. He had a huge game earlier this season against Philadelphia here. 163 yards in that ball game, and a Cardinal victory 16-3. And of course, not expected to play that much this year. Garrison Hurst was the guy they were counting on. He's out with a knee injury. 2nd and 7. Erline. Tipped, incomplete. Almost, it is picked off. Intercepted by Chris Spielman on the tip. The second interception for the Lions, and the second time the ball has been tipped.
Well, and this one hit the receiver right in the chest, too. The ball went up in the air, and Spielman, again, it's the tip drill for the defense. Watch how far Spielman has to go back to make this rebound catch. Off of Gary Clark, he gets hit in the back by William White. Great interception by Spielman, his 2nd of the year.
Well, the Lions lost 5 on interceptions last week. And they've got their 2nd turnover of the ball game and their 2nd interception now. And a first down at the 39-yard line. Well, that'll cost the Lions 5 yards. Kevin Glover and Eric Kramer were absolutely certain of the snap count.
And everybody else got it wrong.
False start. Right guard, move before the ball was snapped. 5 yards, still first down.
You know, how can Red just pick out one guy?
I don't know.
You know, he blamed this one on Freilich. And Freilich's going to be wondering, hey, there was more than just me jumping offside. Lutz was offside. Richards, Brown, everybody except Glover and the quarterback.
But Freilich gets picked on, and it's first down and 15. 7-7 game. Kramer right side. Fumble, ball's loose. Cardinals have it. Herman Moore, problems with the thumb perhaps.
Absolutely. 2 times in a row now, passes directly to Herman Moore where he has to reach out and make the catch. First of all, first one he didn't make the catch. This one he does, but he can't hang on after the hit from the defensive back. Great protection for Kramer. Perfect throw, and the ball gets knocked out by Lorenzo Lynch and recovered by Aeneas Williams. Perfect throwing lane for the quarterback, but you can see Moore just doesn't have the strength or the confidence in that left hand because of that thumb to grasp the ball long enough.
And a first down for the Cardinals now. The score still notched at 7. They hand it off to Moore. He slips a tackle. Surges over left tackle out across the 30 and might get the 32-yard line, a gain of 7 yards for Ron Moore.
You talked about Moore's huge game against Philadelphia. Last week he had a semi-huge game against the Rams where he rushed for 4 touchdowns, and that gave him 6 on the year. You can see he's among the leaders as a rookie in the NFL, but he is the 3rd leading scorer for rushing touchdowns in the NFL.
Second down and a short 3 yards now. And they'll test the left side again. Move the ball out to the 36-yard line. And that could be enough for a fresh set of downs, 1st and 10.
That's really heads-up running by Ron Moore because he only needed 2 or 3 yards to pick up that first down. Got in behind the big guys, Joe Wolf and Louis Sharp and Ed Cunningham on that left side, and just mushed mush the ball forward, picked up the first down.
What'd he do?
Mush, mush. That's where you move that pile real slowly.
Raiders have gone back on top of Seattle, and again, the significance there. Kansas City win and a Raider loss, and the Chiefs are the division champions, so the Raiders need that victory. Blitz from the outside. Beuerlein goes short to Moore, and they move the ball out to the 41-yard line. Chris Spielman makes the tackle.
Beuerlein has had good success throwing the ball short. You see 6 out of 6 to the left, 3 for 5 in the middle of the field, only 1 out of 3 from the right side. This interception here is now a 2, and it was thrown deep to the outside right about there where it was bounced up into the air.
It'll be a 2nd down and 4. Play action. Beuerlein wants to go deep, but nobody was open. He was looking for Gary Clark, but there was double coverage on Clark way downfield. And the 2nd sack of Steve Beuerlein in the game. Kelvin Pritchett gets it.
Butch Roll is going to try and keep the pressure of Hayworth away from the quarterback. That's perfect contained by Tracy Hayworth. That forces Beuerlein up into the waiting arms of Kelvin Pritchett. Good teamwork on that defensive line by Tracy Hayworth and Kelvin Pritchett.
3rd and 14. Blunt is in along with Larry Centers. 4-man rush. They come across the middle. This one will be brought back. There is a flag down back at the 27-yard line, holding against the Cardinals.
And if I were the Lions, I would accept this penalty because it will force a 3rd down and about 24 yards. If they decline it, the Cardinals will be punting. Moore got close to the 1st down.
It's going to be about 4th and 1, but the field position is what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
There, up at the 45-yard line, or 40, yes, the 45. So Fouts is saying, let's take the penalty. We'll take our chances with Phoenix's ability to convert
Holding
3rd. And
number 59 on the offense. 10 yards, still 3rd down.
that's Ed Cunningham, the center, and it's the 2nd penalty of the ball game against the Cardinals.
There is Cunningham, and watch, he's working against Porcher there. Porcher gets underneath them, and boy, there wasn't hardly any holding at all. I think that holding call is real questionable there by our referee, Red Cashin. Looks like Cunningham didn't even slow Porcher down a bit.
3rd and 24. Handed off to Eric Blunt. And the Cardinals move the ball out to the 28. It'll be 4th down from that spot. Oh, listen to the crowd.
Well, the way the ball's bouncing around, though, we've had 2 deflections that have been picked off by the Lions. So while the crowd doesn't like that draw play call there, it's probably a good call with the way things are going this afternoon for Beuerlein.
That'll bring on Rich Camarillo, and Mel Gray waits at the 24-yard line. Snap a little high. Not Camarillo's best kick. And that'll be down at the 32-yard line. A 40-yard punt, nothing on the return. A crowd of 40,000 watching in the sunshine here in the desert. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the guy. Got up this morning and said, you know, I think today the red and the white paint.
Well, his buddy said, hey, this will look really good on you. Here, hold still. Let me paint this stuff on your face.
Meanwhile, the helmet heads are here. And it's 1st down for the Lions. 7-7 ball game. Early 3rd quarter. Kramer with the toss play. Moore comes to the right side and is knocked down at the 34-yard line. He gained about 3. For Derek Moore, his 11th carry for 50 yards.
Cardinals do a nice job of stringing Moore all the way out to the sideline. See Eric Hill come up and take on a blocker. And then it's up to the secondary. There's Lynch and Zordich coming up for the hit. The Cardinals in Zordich, Lynch, and Booty, and Chuck Cecil have 4 of the hardest hitting safeties in football.
Second down and 7. 7-7 game. 9:38 to go, third quarter. Not much pressure, but Kramer goes right, and then they get him. Ready, Joe Nunn. Harvey picks up the ball, but Kramer was ruled down by contact. A loss of 8.
What you're seeing is a quarterback trying to make something out of absolutely nothing. You know, if you can't find anybody, just throw it away and line up on third down again. But look, there's just you know, there's not a whole lot of guys open here. And you see that as a quarterback, just throw the ball away and huddle up, call another play, and we got a manageable situation.
3rd and 16. Draw play. Moore. Fumble. Picked up by the Cardinals at the 35. Michael Bankston got it. Michael Zordich caused it.
And Zordich is down. That was a huge hit as he hit Moore head on, right on the ball, popped the ball loose. He's seeing stars right now, but that hit will make him a star. Number 38 is Zordich from the right side of the screen, lowers his head right on the football and pops it loose.
The big hit by Michael Zordich, number 38, caused the turnover.
Look how far he had to run, too. Here he is at the right side of the screen. Talk about 2 trains head on. That perfect hit there. Second turnover for the Lions this half.
1st and 10 at the 35. 7-7 ball game for a line back. 1 hopper. And he was being pressured by Tracy Hayworth.
Hayworth's playing a pretty good game. He's had pressure on the quarterback a couple of times. You saw the block by Ron Moore, and then the containment of Hayworth on a sack earlier in this half, but now he forces Berline to throw a 1 hopper.
2nd down and 10 from the 35. 7-7 game. Berline into the right flat. And a good effort by Eric Blunt, leaning out to get everything he could out of the play. And that leaves him a yard short.
Yeah, if Garrison Hurst hadn't been hurt earlier this year, Eric Blunt wouldn't even be in the lineup today. And also, Johnny Bailey's got a bad groin, so Blunt scored his first touchdown earlier in the game and gave his team a great effort after that reception of getting it about a half yard from the first down.
How about the Broncos coming from behind now?
Yeah, but they're playing in Mile High. They never lose in Mile High to Marty Schottenheimer, do they?
No. 3rd and 1. Play action. Berline down across the middle. Larry centers to the 1-yard line. How about that call?
It's a great call by Jerry Rome. Perfect execution by the quarterback. Watch the fake to the deep back Moore. Centers goes right down the middle of the field. Gibson can't find him, and if Centers could have caught that ball cleanly, he would have walked into the end zone.
Now Garth Jacks comes in. They do have a play in called 10 reach for him to run it. But they will give it instead to Ron Moore, and he follows Jacks in for the touchdown. Michael Zordich caused the fumble. The Cardinals recover at the 35, and then a terrific call on 3rd and 1. The play action fake, and Berline finds Larry Centers to set up Ron Moore's touchdown.
Real good fake by Berline, too. And Centers made an easy catch look difficult. And Moore gets in. That's 5 touchdowns in 2 weeks now for Ron Moore. Cardinals wasted little time after the turnover. Just 4 plays behind Jack's right side. Ron Moore squeezes into the end zone.
Ron Moore gets the touchdown from a yard out after the turnover forced by Michael Zordich. Guard Jack supplying the block. And it's now 14-7 Phoenix. The Cardinals trying to win 3rd place in the division, trying to get to 500 before the season is out, trying to save Joe Bugle's job. And they take a 14-7 lead over a Detroit team that has lost its last 3. Gray will come out from 4 yards deep. Trying to make something happen. He gets out to the 15-yard line. Well, it was Garth Jacks who led the way. He wanted to carry the ball. He talked about that with us.
You know, the opportunity to carry the ball is something that's really a dream for a dumb, ugly, big, bonehead jock, fullback, linebacker like me. You know, Bronco Nagurski is playing in the 90s now, so, you know, who knows what's going to happen, but I'm having a blast and loving every minute of it.
Great block by Jackson. Another semi-running back, blocking back, bonehead, jarhead, fullback, linebacker, Chris Spielman. Jackson won that battle.
Jackson, Spielman collide at the goal line. Cardinals win it, and they lead it 14-7. Now Eric Kramer and the line offense. And here's Derek Moore. Out to the 18-yard line. The tackle is made by Michael Bankston. 7 minutes remaining, quarter number 3.
And that's the key, Verne. A lot of time is remaining in this ball game. And so there's no reason to panic. I'm sure that Levy would like to talk to Mel Gray, though, about bringing that ball out of the end zone 5 yards deep. Didn't get out close to the 20. You'd always like to start at least on your own 20-yard line, but a lot of time, but also a lot of yards to go for Eric Kramer and the Lions.
2nd and 7. Play action. Kramer with time goes deep for Holman, and he makes a terrific grab at the 42-yard line with Zordich draped all over him. That's a gain of 24.
Well, you wonder about Zordich after that big hit. He got up slowly and looked like he had some cobwebs. This was a great catch by Rodney Holman, but I think that if Zordich might have been a little more clear-headed, he might have picked this one off, because he had it in his sights the whole way. But you got to give it to Rodney Holman. He's done that a lot in his career.
Ball at the 41, 1st and 10. That's Holman in motion, coming back to the near side. Draw play, Moore, gang tackle, lost a half yard. 14 carries in the ball game for Moore. And Keith Rucker made the tackle.
You're talking about bookends. We got Rucker on one end here, and also Reuben Davis, number 93, right side of the screen, gets down below Freilich there. Freilich was expecting him to rush the passer, but on 1st and 10, the Cardinals weren't expecting a pass play from the Lions.
2nd and 10. Kramer with time, deep down the middle, caught at the 40, Perriman. 1st down, Detroit.
Boy, that had to hurt Perriman's back or hip. Remember, sprained his ankle in pregame warmups. On the touchdown pass to Herman Moore, he bruised his knee, and now he makes a fantastic catch and lands right on his butt. Kramer's eyeballing him the whole way, too, on the post route. Throws it a little bit high. Great catch by Perriman, but down on that left hip, though.
Vernon Turner has taken his place. It's 1st and 10 following a 19-yard gain. 14-7, Phoenix leads it. Aubrey Matthews comes back to the near side. No blitz. Kramer across the middle. Holman at the 33-yard line. Well, the Cowboys and Vikings having at it. Let's go back to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Verne, it's more of the Cowboys having at it now. Darrell Johnson, 1 yard out, easy touchdown run, and the Cowboys stretch their lead over the Vikes to 27-6, 7.5 minutes to play, third quarter at the Metrodome, Verne.
All right, Greg, 14-7, our score with 3:53 to go. Quarter number 3, it'll be 2nd down and 7 now. The Lions trying to get the equalizer. They countered in the first half after Phoenix went 98 yards to score. Detroit came right back to tie it up. And here is Moore breaking a tackle and getting a first down. Detroit at the 28-yard line. Reuben Davis makes the stop.
On this drive, the Lions have run the ball 3 times and they've passed it 3 times, but all 3 of their runs have been draw plays. So you're getting the idea that Levy feels more confident with his passing attack, and the counter to the pass is when you're putting it on the ground, it's a draw play. They're having success with both phases of their offense right now in this drive.
Perryman is back in on 1st down and 10. Cardinals are blitzing. Kramer gets a great block, goes in the left corner, and it's caught by Holman. Touchdown, Detroit.
Sensational pass blocking by the Detroit Lions offensive line, and an even better job of seeing the field by quarterback Eric Kramer. Holman was his last resort receiver, found him, threw him a perfect pass, and got the touchdown.
That's a gain of 28 yards on the TD pass. So for the 2nd time in the ball game, the Lions counter a Phoenix touchdown with one of their own.
The pass protection is perfect for Kramer. Watch Stowe, number 90, come, and Derek Moore's going to pick him up. Watch Kramer look all over the field trying to find Holman. 35 times in his great career, Rodney Holman has been in the end zone.
In making the change of offensive coordinator and quarterback, Wayne Fouts said he hoped to catch lightning in a bottle. I don't know whether they've captured it yet, but they've located it. They are playing very well on offense today. Eric Kramer, 16 of 21 for 209 yards and 2 touchdown passes.
And he's a perfect 5 for 5 in the 2nd half.
Here's the kickoff, and it will be taken out. Eric Blunt to the 25-yard line.
As a quarterback, you're always looking for mismatches in the secondary, especially in your passing game. Watch this mismatch here. Here's Freddie Joe Nunn, and here's Holman. Freddie Joe Nunn is going to be responsible for Holman all the way down the sidelines because the Cardinals are coming with a blitz. Kramer has enough time because of that great protection and throws a perfect pass, and that coverage by Freddie Joe Nunn was pretty darn good.
And Freddie Joe Nunn, normally a pass rusher, forced into a pass defender's role. Here's Berline, right side. Catch made at the 30-yard line by Gary Clark. That's a gain of 4, maybe 5 yards.
Just feel the confidence of the Lions growing. One thing that Levy told us yesterday is that when he talked to the team after the change, they weren't all that shook up about it. They didn't feel all that badly about it. They welcomed Dave Levy back as their coordinator because they remember just how successful they were in 1991.
2nd and 5, 14-14 ball game. Ron Moore to the 33, maybe the 34, which would leave him 1 yard shy of the first down. The tackle was made by Mark Spindler, number 93.
Well, Bronco Nagurski's coming into the game. Oh, that's Garth Jacks. one thing he told us, he was Garth before that other Garth, but he had a hard time convincing people that that was really his name. He was called Bart, he was called Girth, but now he's called Brooks.
Yes. Identity crisis. 3rd and 1. Oh, my goodness. Did not get it. And it'll be 4th down.
And Girth and Bart and Garth and Bronco didn't get the job done here. Number 53, good job of the defensive line pushing the Cardinal offensive line back. Jack's never had a chance to unload on the defensive back there, and that's why the Cardinals came up short. Also, they're showing their respect for Chris Spielman not going right up the middle.
Mel Gray waits for the punt at the 20. Camarillo goes to the right side. There is a flag down and a fair catch made very late by Mel Gray. Now let's check the flag.
That might be holding against the Cardinals.
Holding Phoenix.
And the players want Fouts to accept the penalty and push the Cardinals back. Make Camarillo hit it again, and that's what they're going to do.
Holding before the ball was kicked. Number 89 on the offense. 10 yards, still 4th down.
That's the center, Pat Beach, the snapper. Talk about a tough job. You got to bend over, look between your legs, and throw a strike to the punter, and then you got to get your head back up and try to block somebody. That time Pat Beach got called for holding.
So the re-kick will come from the 24-yard line, and Mel Gray moves up accordingly to the 30. Raiders leading Seattle 20-9. And that one is very short. It may have been touched. I'm not sure. Willie Clay was coming, and he might have gotten a hand on it. At any rate, it went off the side of Camarillo's foot, and it didn't go very far.
And they're not going to call running into the kicker because Camarillo bobbles his snap. Ball's a little bit low. Once he bobbles it, it's a free game. And so this potential penalty is waved off.
14-14 score. Back to play, 1st down 10 following a 21-yard punt. And the Lions at the 45 of Phoenix in a 14-all game. Right side caught by Holman, who is bumped out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Now let's check the scores of the games earlier this afternoon. Chicago a loser to Tampa Bay. The Rams are winners. The Giants as well. Buffalo scores late, wins over Philadelphia. Houston nips Cleveland. And New England over Cincinnati 7-2.
Now, on that last one there, Verne, with the big check mark there, that's the one, if you don't score a touchdown, you ought to get a bye the next week.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter with our score 14-14. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Tis a gorgeous part of the country, particularly at this time of the year, downtown Phoenix. We are at Sun Devil Stadium, a 14-14 ball game, and the Lions with a 2nd down and 8. Verne Lundquist and Dan Fouts. Here's Kramer handing it off, and Moore comes left and doesn't get anything, except Tyrone Stowe, number 90. And a big 3rd down now coming up for Detroit. Again, with Chicago losing and Green Bay playing at San Diego, if things went right for the Lions, they could be back alone in 1st place by midnight tonight. They have to take care of their business here, and of course Phoenix trying desperately to win for the 2nd week in a row for only the 3rd time in Joe Bugle's 4 years here. 3rd and 8. Blitz coming. Kramer pumps and goes deep, and he is hit as he lets it go, and the ball is caught. Touchdown! Willie Green.
And you know, he welcomed the change probably more than anyone, because it was Eric Kramer to Willie Green that was such a great combination back in 1991. This is twice now that Kramer has showed just how tough he is under tremendous pressure. Saw the man-for-man coverage on the outside between Green and Robert Massey. Knew he had a chance and knew he wanted to give Green a chance to make a big play, and he did.
The extra point from Jason Hansen. Up and good.
Kramer is now 7 for 7, and this was his toughest one as he takes a shot from Mike Jones. Robert Massey just trips and falls, watches the ball sail over his head. Little pump move, and Eric Kramer is on fire.
This game summary is sponsored by McDonald's.
Lions have been searching desperately for an offense during this time without Barry Sanders. They seem to have found one. Eric Kramer, nearly perfect. And the Lions only 2 yards shy of 300 for the ball game, most of that coming in the air. They lead it now 21-14 on that 43-yard strike from Kramer to Willie Green. Hansen's kick short. Eric Blunt at the 10. Out to the 27-yard line. Well, there's the man who started last week on the left, and Eric Kramer on the right.
Well, it's twice now that Kramer has read the blitz and burned the Cardinals for touchdowns. First it was the 28-yarder to Rodney Holman, and now this time he goes 43 yards to Willie Green. And that's the way you punish a team for thinking that they can blitz you and knock you down. Maybe that lightning in the bottle that Fouts was looking for. Certainly has a nice record as a starting quarterback.
This is his 12th start. He gets a smile from Rodney Peete. All three quarterbacks were called in to Wayne Fouts' office and told about the position change. Here's Berline. Poor Shea got him. Got a section of Lion fans here. That's the third sack of Berline.
There's Porsche, number 91, working on Louis Sharp. And it's just a relentless move there. Actually, Porsche came from the inside, and it was Pritchett on the outside. So Louis Sharp did a good job, but Porsche got through for the sack.
2nd and 19, 13:35 to go in the ball game. Control in motion, wide left. Berline gets it out to Larry Centers, and they move the ball out to the 28. Ryan McNeil makes the tackle.
Talked about how many catches Derek Moore has for the Lions. Well, Larry Centers has just as many for the Cardinals. Very valuable player.
3rd down coming up under the 13-minute mark now.
And Centers is a type of player that a lot of teams will be looking at in the free agency market. Do a lot to help an offense.
3rd and 10. Got him. Kelvin Pritchett, number 94.
Now the Cardinals run 3 plays and punt. 2 of the plays, the quarterback gets sacked. It's the old silver rush for the Detroit Lions. Pritchett working against Lance Smith gets his sack.
Camarillo back to punt. Mel Gray at the 30, popped immediately by Anthony Edwards, a special team star. And he may have hurt his shoulder. Anthony Edwards is down at the 28-yard line. 47-yard punt. Well, the medical staff is out to take care of Anthony Edwards. We'll check with him when we come back.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it. O'Doul's from Anheuser-Busch, premium beer taste without the alcohol. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
On the first down play after the punt, Eric Kramer finds Brett Perryman wide to the right side. Anthony Edwards on the bench getting some treatment for that right shoulder. And here's how he sustained that injury when he made the tackle on Mel Gray. Anthony Edwards, by the way, was ejected from a game in New York. That carries with it, an ejection does, an automatic fine. The fine was appealed, and it was rescinded. He does not have to pay a fine for that ejection in New York. Good news for Edwards. Draw play. Moore. And Sordich catches up with it.
But that begs the question, why was he ejected from the game in the first place?
Doesn't it, though?
We did the game. It did not see any contact between Edwards and the official. And knowing Edwards' family background, that his dad being a preacher, we know for sure that Anthony didn't use any bad words. And the league investigated and found that it might have been a bad
As
call.
the son of a preacher man, let me say that periodically, coarse language will somehow creep in.
Never heard it from you, bud.
Never, never.
Never.
3rd and 4. Motion call. And it looked like a mix-up on the snap count again.
Now Kramer, yeah.
False start.
Trying to back out.
Number 12 came out without the ball. 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
Again, that's a real critical mistake. Not so much that he moved before, but it's a 3rd and 4 yards to go, which is a situation where you're comfortable in running the ball or throwing the ball. Now you move it back to 3rd and 9. You're almost forced to throw the ball, which plays right into the hands of the Cardinal defense. So sometimes it's the timing of your penalties that's more critical than the penalty itself.
8 of 8 in this half is Eric Kramer.
We talked about Larry Sinner's value in the free agency market. These type of numbers can make a guy a very rich man in a very short amount of time.
3rd and 9, 21-14, Detroit leads. Kramer chased, caught, still up, throws it away, incomplete. It'll be 4th down. Freddie Joe Nunn got him. Would like to have wrapped him up, but couldn't.
Well, they've got to him twice today, and both of them were big sacks. That time Kramer had enough strength to get rid of that one and avoid the big loss.
That brings on Jim Arnold. The Raiders increasing their lead over Seattle. And here's Arnold back. Another good punt. Blunt. Flag is down. This one will come back. And I think they're going to get Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, they're going to get Anthony Edwards for an illegal block on the gunner, Willie Clay. And that fine return by Eric Blunt will come back, and the Cardinals will take over inside their own 10-yard line.
And here again is Red Cash.
Those illegal blocks, real borderline, as Clay using great speed to get ahead of Edwards, and Edwards could do nothing but just shove him, and that brought the flag.
Illegal block during the return. Number 83 of the receivers, half the distance to the goal, 1st down and 10. It'll be a timeout.
Actually, the block is on Ryan McNeil right in the back. Great call by the officials, and that pins the Cardinals deep in their own end.
10-16 remaining in the first half. Coming up Saturday, the NCAA Division I AA Championship. Youngstown State against Marshall. That's Saturday at 12 noon Eastern time as those two teams meet for the title for the third time in a row. And then the Dallas Cowboys go to New York to take on the Jets. Saturday game at 3:30 Eastern time with the NFL Today. Dan and I will be back in New York for that game.
That last play where Kramer was forced to dump the ball was his first incompletion of the second half. Very impressive performance by Kramer.
And Joe Bugle's team now trailing by 7, 4-8 for the year. And they have lost more ball games by closer numbers than anybody else in the league this season. They have only been blown out once. That was by San Francisco when they fell behind 28-0 and wound up losing by 14, 28-14.
People said the last 3 weeks of the season have been the most enjoyable that he has had in his 4 years here in Phoenix. We talked about the win over Philadelphia and the close loss to the Giants, and then the big win last week against the Rams. But if he doesn't win this afternoon, all that good feeling is going to go right down the drain. And the first word that the Cardinals are going to be reading about tomorrow in the papers is that U word.
Ultimatum. (21-14) is the score. And the Cardinals have a first down at their own 9-yard line. Across the 10 out near the 11-yard line. There was movement, but the defense got back and no flag on the play. That's a gain of 2.
Yeah, Porche did a nice job of getting back onside after he jumped into the neutral zone, and not only did he get back onside, he got in on the tackle.
9:50 to go in the game. Chicago lost earlier today to Tampa Bay, 13-10. The Lions have lost their last 3, but they lead here 21-14. Berline into the flat. Blunt to the 15. It'll be 3rd and 3. That's a gain of 4. Ray Crockett makes the tackle.
Crockett had a little help from his middle linebacker, Chris Spielman. Number 54 is just going to fly out of his zone responsibility here, and he really helps on this tackle because Blunt was looking to cut it back into the inside. And old 54 coming with the cleanup tackle.
3rd down and 3. Cardinals are blitzing, or the Lions rather. The pass left side, that's good for the first down. Larry Centers at the 20-yard line. And for Centers, that's catch number 8.
And none bigger than that one, Verne, because he had to beat the man-to-man coverage and also know exactly how many yards he needed to pick up the first down. Beat the coverage and picked up the first down. Good play.
Clock shows 8:20 and running. That's the time left in the game. 21-14. Lions lead. Stunts by the Lions. The pass left side. Caught by Blunt. And he dances his way up to the 30-yard line. Kevin Scott. And Chris Spielman with the tackle. That's a gain of 9. Berline is limping a little bit. He's been bothered, of course, by the right knee that cost him 2 games, and also sesamoid bone problems on the balls of both feet now.
Yeah, that's a problem because his right foot has bothered him all year, and then just a couple of weeks ago, he sprained the bottom of his left foot. And so he's walking around on eggshells, just short of the first down.
That much.
the Lions are now in their nickel defense. They have extra defensive backs in the game. And with their mission now is to just keep the Cardinals in front of them. You see how deep they're all playing. It's that old umbrella defense. Here are the two linebackers, and they're just going to drop off. Here's another defensive back, and they're going to take up this part of the field and just keep all the Cardinal receivers in front of them. Don't let them get the big play.
That was the last play that did not pick up the first down. It's second and less than a foot. 7:53 to go in the ball game. First down plus is Moore. Takes it over left guard out to the 36-yard line.
The danger, the risk you run in this type of defense is that the intensity level starts to drop off. You're saying don't give them the big one, don't give them the big one, so you're not as aggressive, you don't attack as much on defense, and then you see running plays that pick up that much yardage on a second and very short. But Bulla is an aggressive defensive coach. He will change things up, and he might even blitz in this type of situation.
No blitz here. It's a four-man rush, and they get rid of it to Larry Centers, and he moves it out to the 45. That's a gain of 8 on first down, or 9 make it, and the clock shows 6:50 remaining in the ball game.
That was a heck of a tackle by Chris Spielman. He's got 13 tackles so far today, but he had a 285-pound offensive guard in Lance Smith blocking him at his knees, reached over the top of Smith and brought Centers down. That's why Spielman is going to the Pro Bowl again this year.
Second and 1. Right side, caught. Randall Hill, or rather Gary Clark, first down at the 46-yard line. This drive started at the 9. After the blocking call on Anthony Edwards, the penalty. And now the Cardinals have moved the ball first down and 10 just outside the 46.
And even though Clark went out of bounds, the clock starts running again until we're within 5 minutes of the end of the game here in the fourth quarter.
Burline. Oh, boy, that was almost picked off. Pritchett hit it.
And Porcher almost caught it. Burline avoiding the sack. Is real lucky that this carom wasn't picked off, as two of his earlier passes were. Pritchett just comes right up the middle, beats Cunningham. It's a heck of an effort by Burline to get rid of this ball. But watch how close it comes to being intercepted by Porcher. Hit him right in the right shoulder.
Second down and 10. They try it to the right side and get to the 40-yard line as Eric Blunt has the carry and a pickup of 7.
We talked about the aggressive nature of Hank Bulla. That time he brought the blitz, and it was Antonio London who had Blunt in the backfield, but Blunt broke his tackle. Here's London, 51, coming on the blitz. And Eric Blunt strong enough to pull away and pick up 7 yards.
5:35 remaining in the ball game. 3rd and 3. London may have jumped offside. There are flags down, and the pass was incomplete for Randall Hill. London is claiming that he was drawn offside.
That's his only defense, and he's going to stick to it. That's my story.
Offside, first down, Phoenix.
That's just 2 plays in a row now that London's figured in.
Offside.
Doesn't make the tackle, and now he jumps offside.
First down.
They get the first down call from Red Cashin. I don't think he plays to the crowd a little bit, do you, Verne?
No, not a bit.
It's the only official I've ever seen that gets standing ovations from his calls on the field.
Red Cashin, the pride of Bryan, Texas. He's a good man. First down at the 35, 1st and 10. Four-man rush, Berline back, crossing route, Ricky Prohl at the 20 and out of bounds. Kevin Scott made the tackle. A gain of 16.
And Verne, as you mentioned, this drive started on the 9-yard line. So the Cardinals, although they haven't played that well in the second half, are not quitting. They're mounting a very impressive drive as we get down to the 5-minute mark.
First down and 10, 5:10 to go in the ball game. Moore breaks into the open. Tackled at the 12 by George Jamison. He picked up 7.
Key block was by number 61, Lance Smith. Right here, watch the job he does. The double team there, it comes off, gets on the linebacker. That's blocking 2 for the price of 1.
4.5 to go in the ball game. 2nd and 3. Lions up by 7. Right side to the 9-yard line, and that will be close for the first down as Moore carries for the 19th time. First and goal.
And this guy's got a hot hand. You see what he's done on this drive. That one incompletion he threw is when he was being strangled by Kelvin Pritchett. So he hit 7 in a row before that.
First and goal from the 9. Hill and Prohl go to the left side. Gary Clark is wide right. Centers and Blunt are in the backfield. The blitz is coming. They read it, and they get the ball to Clark at the 1-yard line. Good job of picking up the blitz. Better job of reading it by Steve Berline.
And if there's one receiver you can count on catching the ball in a crowd, it's number 84, Gary Clark. So many times he's done this for the Washington Redskins, but that's just being a great player. Making the play when your team needs it, regardless of what punishment your body may be in for.
2nd and goal, and Garth Jax comes in. Remember, they have a play in for him to carry the ball. He's the lead back here with Ron Moore behind him. Oh, my goodness! Kelvin Pritchett. Wow, a loss of 3.
Boy, and Ron Moore's got to be checking his marbles because he got blasted. What a play by Pritchett, showing tremendous acceleration, getting off the block of Sharp and almost getting to the handoff point. Big play for the Lions.
3rd and goal from the 4. Hill and Prohl go left. Clark comes right. They're blitzing. Berline lets it go in the end zone. Incomplete. 4th and goal.
Good call by Bulla, sending everybody at the quarterback, not letting Berline set his feet to throw the ball. Clark was open behind Tim McKyer, but the ball was low. And now it's 4th down, and now Bugle wants to call timeout and get everybody on the same page. Make sure he has exactly the right call for this situation. But the pressure by the Lions up the middle on Berline forced that ball to one hop to Clark. Great call by Hank Bulla and good execution. They didn't get the sack, but they got what they wanted in the incompletion.
2:06 remaining in the ball game. Joe Bugle's team is down by 7. They've got a 4th and goal from the 4.
And that blitz by Bulla and the Lions has got to put a lot of question marks in Berline's mind and in Bugle's as to what kind of defense they'll see here.
Well, we'll see if they bring them again. Backs are split, Blunt and centers. 2 receivers left and 1 right. They come with the blitz. Beuerlein backs out, goes left side, up for grabs, intercepted. Picked off by Ryan McNeil, his 2nd interception of the season. For the 2nd time in the series of 4 downs, Hank Bulla had his defense blitz.
You know, you can bend and bend and bend, but when you get with your backs literally to the wall, you got to bring everybody. Look at these guys. You think they got one thing in their mind. They're coming after Beuerlein. He can never set his feet. Hayworth and Scroggins meet in the backfield, and the result is an interception.
On 1st down with 1:57 remaining. The handoff given in the middle, and the Cardinals use the 2nd of their 3 timeouts. There is Ryan McNeil.
Well, McNeil had man-to-man coverage on the outside because everybody's rushing the quarterback. You can see Beuerlein can't get set, so he throws the ball almost end over end, looking for Ricky Prohl and or Randall Hill or anybody in a red shirt. Found number 47 instead. Cardinals now only have 1 timeout because remember they had to use a timeout to decide which play they were going to run on that 4th and goal situation.
So there's the graphic documentation of what Dan was saying. 3 timeouts left for the Lions, 1 for Phoenix with 1:56 to go in the game. This game presented by authority of the National Football League, and the CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Phoenix Cardinals, and the National Football League is prohibited. 2nd down and 9 Lions. The difference in the ball game, a 46-yard pass, Willie Green, 43 yards, Eric Kramer. They hand it up the middle, and they will use another timeout. And this will be their last one. Steve Beuerlein and his offensive teammates are hoping they get at least 1 more chance to tie this game. Morley Safer looks like he's up to no good, and he is. He's buying an alien ID card, a birth certificate, and a Social Security card. All fake, and all on 60 Minutes tonight. Then it's Bette Midler's network television film debut, starring as Mama Rose in Gypsy. Now, Chris Spielman has led a defense that was without Pat Swilling today, was without Lawrence Pete, had an injured Dan Owens, had Mark Spindler at the nose. And they yielded a lot in that last drive, but they came with a blitz twice when it counted at the end. And they are 1:56 away from breaking the losing streak. 3rd and 8. Hand off. Oh my goodness! What a big play by Derek Moore. 35 yards.
And that'll do it. He went out of bounds, but after that next play, the Cardinals cannot stop the clock. So Derek Moore comes up with a huge play against the Cardinals. Great job by Kevin Glover working on Tyrone Stowe, number 90. Gets down low, pushes Stowe to the one side, and Moore, who had a 48-yarder against the Cardinals earlier this year, that 35-yarder was twice as big.
106 yards on 20 carries for Derek Moore. And I will bet that back in Detroit, Barry Sanders just smiled.
And a whole lot of Lion fans. What a difference. You know, Verne, we did the game last week against Minnesota, and the Lions were pathetic on offense. But it looks like Dwayne Ponce is a genius for making the change of firing Dan Henning, elevating Dave Levy as offensive coordinator, replacing Rodney Peete with Eric Kramer. Kramer certainly has paid off his coach's confidence. 9 out of 25 with 3 touchdowns, and in the second half, he was 8 out of 9. And
for the Phoenix Cardinals, they will lose their 9th of the season And for the 8th time, it will be a defeat of 7 points or less.
Well, they had 4 sacks on Berline, and Berline was picked off 3 times. Of course, the clincher was the Ryan McNeil interception in the end zone. That stopped any chance the Cardinals had of winning this one.
Final 34 seconds. Greg and Terry coming up with scores and highlights from throughout the afternoon in the National Football League. And here will be the final play. On 3rd down, Dave Levy, the new and for the moment offensive coordinator. We asked him last night how long was the appointment for. He said, I don't know. Just take it game by game.
Well, he'll be it next week. You can promise you that.
And for Joe Bugle and the Cardinals, another heartbreaking defeat as they fall to 4-9. Lions win it. They break the losing streak behind that man, Eric Kramer. Greg and Terry are next.